Today we're going to talk about a book that's over 100 years old, and you could probably read it in an afternoon. It's tiny. But the idea at its core, it's basically the blueprint for almost every single self-help book that's ever been written since. So let's dig in and see why it's still so powerful.
But first, a quick question for you. Have you ever felt like you're just reacting to life? You know that feeling. Like you're just being swept along by a current you can't really control? We all feel that way sometimes. But what if taking back control, grabbing the steering wheel, was way simpler than you ever thought?
Well, the answer might just be hiding in this little book from 1903 called As a Man Thinketh. And the thing that gives the author, James Allen, so much credibility is that he wasn't writing this from some comfortable, easy life. These ideas were forged in the fire of real hardship. I mean, look at his life. It was short and it was tough. Born in 1864, his father died tragically, and he had to drop out of school to support his family. But here's the thing about James Allen. He might have left the classroom, but his education never stopped. The man worked, he studied constantly, and in 1903, he poured everything he had learned from his struggles into this one powerful book. And that's what makes it so real. It's not just theory. In fact, his wife later said that he only wrote about what he himself practiced, the things that helped him get through his own life, the stuff that actually worked and gave him real results. This wasn't just a book, it was his manual for living. So, what is this big, life-changing idea? Well, it's so simple, it's almost kind of shocking. But it's the kind of simple that can completely change how you see everything. It's the principle that your inner world, your thoughts, are the architect of your outer world. The title really says it all, doesn't it? As a Man Thinketh. The whole idea is that every single thing in your life, your personality, your situation, where you end up, it all grows from the seeds you plant in your mind. It all starts with a thought. And the logic is just a simple chain reaction. You think something, that thought sparks an action, the action produces a result, and you string enough of those results together, and boom, that's your life. So if you want to change your life, you can't start with the results. You have to go all the way back to the beginning of the chain, back to your thoughts. Now, to really help us get this, Allen uses this amazing metaphor that's become super famous. He says you have to think of your mind as a garden. Just picture it. Your mind is this plot of land. If you deliberately go in there and plant good seeds, thoughts of kindness, of purpose, of courage, and you take care of them, your garden is going to be beautiful. But what happens if you do nothing, if you just neglect it? The garden doesn't stay empty. Weeds just start to grow all by themselves. Thoughts of fear, doubt, worry, they'll take over, and you'll end up with nothing valuable. So that begs the big question, right? Who planted all those weeds? And the answer is kind of chilling. Often, nobody did. They just grew because of neglect. See, negative thinking is the default. It's the path of least resistance. You don't have to try to have negative thoughts. It just happens if you're not actively, consciously planting something better. Okay, so once you accept that your mind is a garden, you realize you've got a choice. You get to decide what you're going to water and what you're going to pull out. It's all about where you choose to put your focus. Allen gives this great example. Imagine someone broke into your house last night. Would you spend all day today just thinking about what you lost, leaving the doors and windows wide open? Of course not. That's like inviting the thief to come back and take the rest of your stuff. A smart person would learn the lesson and install better locks. It's the same thing with your mind. Dwelling on past failures is just inviting that negativity to rob you again. The smart move is to learn, lock it down, and focus on what's next. Here's another one I love. Life is like a museum. It's full of all kinds of stuff. Beautiful paintings and inspiring artifacts right next to, scary weapons and glass cases. You can't change what's in the museum, but you 100% choose which exhibits you're going to stop and look at. You can spend your time studying an amazing book once owned by a genius, or you can just stare at the grenade. What you focus on is what you'll remember. So when life feels like it's all bad, Allen's challenge is this. Look again. There are good things in your museum. Go find them. So we're tending our mental garden, we're choosing where to focus, but what's it all for? Well, the last piece of the puzzle is giving all of that energy a purpose, a clear direction. Allen asks us to picture two things on a river. One is a boat. It has a destination, it has a rower, it's moving with intention. The other thing is a water hyacinth, just a plant floating on the surface. It just drifts. It gets pushed around by whatever the current is doing. A life without a clear purpose is like that hyacinth, totally at the mercy of whatever happens. But a life with purpose, that's the boat, moving deliberately towards where it wants to go.
And why is that purpose so critical? Because that's what creates value. Think of it this way. You can have a life like sand. It's easy to find, it's everywhere, but it's not worth very much. Or you can do the hard work of mining for gold. It takes a ton of effort, a ton of focus, but the result is incredibly precious. A truly valuable life, Alan says, isn't an easy life. It's a life that requires the hard work of going after a worthy goal.
So when you put all these metaphors together, the garden, the boat, the gold, what are they all pointing to? They're all revealing one single, incredibly empowering truth about your life.
And it's this. Your mind is not just some passive thing watching your life go by. It is the active creator. Your ability to choose, to direct, and to cultivate your thoughts is the single greatest power you have to build your reality from the inside out. So that leaves us with one last simple question. Right now, your mind is a garden. The soil is ready. Which seed are you going to plant in it today? Because the choice, as James Allen made so perfectly clear, is entirely yours.